Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, why don't you consider subscribing? Because then you'll subscribe to me and you'll see my new videos and I'll have you as a subscriber and we'll have fun. And I'll send every 10 millionth person that subscribes a $25 check. If I do get to 10 million subscribers, I'll really do that. Okay. So to start this off, we're using one of these wire wreath frames from the Dollar Tree. Since they have a small one and a large one now, I guess we're calling this one the medium, but this is the one you're probably most likely to find, aside from the small one. I haven't seen the big ones that often. I have the Clover Pom-Pom makers, some cotton string that I believe was from Dollar General, just something strong that you can pull tight. And this is the Waverly muslin fabric pre-cut. It's 2 yards. At Walmart. I got the pre-cut because it was very early when I was there and I was just like, I need fabric, and the fabric counter's not open, but the fabric counter's never open, and if it is, you can't find anybody to cut fabric. So this is a really nice choice. It's got a nice heavy feel to it. It doesn't feel cheap like some of those really stringy, loosely woven muslins. And what I'm doing is cutting every ½ inch, but it's every ½ inch along the width of the fabric, not the length, because we want the pieces to be ½ inch by 72 inches, because that's the 2 yards. And this is something where I would sit down, start snipping, and start ripping. And I don't think you're going to need 2 yards to finish this wreath. You could probably use the 2 yards to do the really big wreath. The 18 inch, I think. This is the 14 inch. I'm just ripping down these pieces. Now I've got a nice big pile of them. I don't care that they're stringy. I think it lends to the whole look. And I'm cutting me a couple pieces of string here so I can demonstrate the pom-pom makers. This is either the medium or the large. I think this is the large. And I like the Clover ones. Plaid makes one too, but I'm not such a fan of that one. It's just a little, I don't know, like rickety. You don't need a special tool to make these pom-poms. You can do it with a piece of cardboard, and that's, that would work fine. So for these large ones here, I am taking one ½ inch by 72 inch strip, and I'm dividing it between the 2 sides, so each side gets a yard pretty much. Wrapping it all around, and then you close it up and come through with your scissors to cut it open. You can see that little first section right there is where we crossed over from one side to the other. And these don't make a particularly full pom-pom, but I'm not looking for like a super full pom-pom. I just want something with texture. And I'm going to take my string and slip it through the middle here. Pull it tight. And then give it a couple knots. I've used a variety of things to tie these together. I've used this cord, which I like. I've used some jute cord, which works well because it has the texture to it. And I've even used zip ties because I want them to be super tight, even though they don't have to be that tight for this project. So I'm giving it another knot there, fluffing it up some and checking it out. And you're going to have some pieces that are just a little too long, so I just cut those off. You can see it's a little frayed. I kind of like to encourage that because I think it looks good. Now this is the jumbo maker. The large comes in a set. This one you have to purchase by itself. And for this one, it's getting 1 strip on each side. So it takes 2 ½ inch by 72 inch pieces. And again, not super dense, but just something kind of big and fluffy. It's the same exact thing. You're going to cut up through the slit, slide the cord through, and then tie it tight. And if you use yarn with this pom-pom maker, it makes a massive pom-pom. Like, I think it ends up being like 4 inches across. Okay, I'm gonna trim up anything that's sticking out really far, give it a good shake to fluff. And those are the 2 sizes. And then you're gonna make a lot more. You can see one of those has the zip tie, one of them has the jute. I was just kind of playing around to figure out which ones I liked, and I still don't know. I think probably the jute, because it has a real grip. And I'm just going through and cleaning up some longer pieces that look a little out of place. I think I didn't like the zip ties as much as I wanted to, because you end up throwing like 90% of it away. And now I'm just attaching these on here, and you can tie them if you want, for whatever reason you don't want to use glue. But the problem with tying them on is that you're going to have to pull so tight to keep them upright that you're going to end up bending the frame. And you're going to end up using a lot more because you have to really pack them in there. The problem with gluing them on is that I gave my friend a wreath like this. She lives in Texas, and she left it out on her front door for the entire summer, and I think she came home one day and the pom-poms were all over the ground. So I don't know, I wouldn't put a wreath like this outside. This is an indoor wreath, maybe a outdoor in the shade wreath, but I end up gluing these on just because it's easier and I can really get everything where I want to without worrying about anything sliding around. So I would go around and put all my big pom-poms down first, and then come in, fill in with everything else. So here's the wreath mostly done, thanks to the magic of editing. And I'm just going through, and if there's a big space, I'm sticking a big one in there, and if there's a small space, I'm sticking a small one in there. And I'm just trying to make sure that I glue directly onto one of the bars of the frame. And you don't have to do this with muslin. I have some ticking fabric. It's upholstery fabric, so I think it'd be a little harder to work with just because it's stiffer. But you could use anything you wanted. You could just use a quilting cotton. And see, I'm showing you right there. There's a hole, and I want to fill that out so I have a nice round shape. And that's pretty much it. You could do all one size pom-pom, but I really like mixing them up a little bit just for the extra texture. So I hope you guys like that. It's not a super quick project, but it's an easy project because you can just you can sit down, put on a movie, make your pom-poms. You know, whenever you have an extra 10 minutes here and there, you can just whip a couple out, and then before you know it, you have enough to make a whole wreath. And these are just some pictures. I think that this isn't like a particularly seasonal wreath. Like, you could just have this out all the time. Makes a good gift though. Something that you can make several of. And it looks a lot more expensive than it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, if you could subscribe, that would be awesome. Comment, like, share, follow me on Instagram. And tell me what kind of wreath you like down in the comments. And tell me where you're from in the comments so we can have a conversation. Alright, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.